Well, hello here and welcome to the HuskerOnline postgame live show. Sean Callahan, Robin Washett, Steve Sipple. We found a spot. It was a little challenging, guys, to find a spot to do the postgame live. We are in the Illinois official stats room, but we've got the blessing from the great staff here at Illinois. And by the way, they provide postgame beer for the media. So, Sipple missed out on that, but here we are, Nebraska, 20-7 winners over Illinois. And guys, this is not going to be a game that we're probably talking about for years to come as far as a pretty victory. But I think it was a character building win. It was a program building win. And I thought Matt Rule had some interesting comments.
Oh, yeah.
Just essentially, and I don't know what you wrote, Sim. I know what angle you're thinking about, but his last quote, I'm like, oh boy, Sipple's going to write this.
Oh my God, you're right. I think I
Pat Riley quote.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the ride because I think there's this snootiness about Nebraska where like, oh, they need to win, they need to look like a national contender. Well, Nebraska's not a national contender. Right. They're a developing program that has got the longest bowl drought in Power 5 football. So any Power 5 win they get, especially on the road, especially against a team that was picked ahead of them in the Big Ten standings, a team that they haven't beaten since 2019, head coach and Brett Bielema, they've only beaten one time. I don't care how it looks like right now for Nebraska. Just win.
Well, they did. And you're right. I did jump on that quote.
I can see you got up and left pretty much.
He just said this. This is what Matt Rule said, Sean. I just really hope that people, instead of jumping ahead to what we're going to be, kind of enjoy this ride. Coach Pat Riley calls it the innocent climb. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, and I don't think that Rule would be quoting Pat Riley if they lost. But I do. He says there's this innocent. This is Rule again. There's this innocent climb where kids are just out there giving it their all for this program. He said, so yeah, this is kind of getting to what Sean said. Sometimes we line up wrong. Sometimes we have 12 guys on the field. It's not perfect. It can be a little frustrating, but it's a beautiful phase watching young people learn how to win and fight for each other. Yeah, I mean, you guys, what would you say? Nebraska could have won this game 42-7.
Yes.
49-7. It's something like that. They won 20-7.
At least 24 points, I would say.
Okay.
Even like when they get like a turnover and they were inside the 10, they get a 15-yard penalty to like back them up.
Oh God, it was one thing after another. It was almost too many things to write. I mean, I just sort of, when you're ripping, you're on deadline in a column. Literally, this was the sort of column, guys, where you couldn't take time to find all the errors because there were so many.
You gotta be real general with how you do that.
Right. They were very mistake prone, Sean, but I agree with your sentiment. That's what I wrote. The headline of my column was you can't afford to be picky if you're a Nebraska fan. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. And
right?
the fact that they made all those mistakes and still won by 2 scores
on
the road
in
a Big Ten game against a team they've lost 3 straight games to. That is a sign of progress, no matter how you want to try to spin it.
That is.
It certainly was frustrating in a lot of ways, especially with the offense's inability to capitalize on all the opportunities the defense gave them. But that being said, the game, there were times when maybe it kind of felt in doubt, but Nebraska quickly put any momentum Illinois was trying to build off those mistakes to bed very quickly with how that defense played. And that kind of goes back to what Matt Rule was saying, last week and even before that about how they want this to be a defensive team. They were a defensive team tonight.
Oh, 100.
Won them the game. The special teams made a bunch of big plays. They weren't perfect either, but they made big plays, game-changing plays, and the offense did just enough. They kept Illinois hanging around longer than people would have liked, but when you get that level of play from your defense and that level of play from your special teams, and the offense is able to do just enough, that's a formula that I think Nebraska can lean on going forward, at least for this season.
Yes, and against this schedule.
The offense has to get better. There's no sugarcoating that you can't turn the ball over 3 of your final 4 possessions on the road in the fourth quarter and expect to beat most teams. They got away with it this time, and it's a learning experience. I'll tell you what, it's a whole lot better to learn from a win, especially going into a bye week, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Yeah. Now, in what I think, Sean, what you're writing about is the response to a really, really difficult loss. It kind of sort of an embarrassing loss to Michigan last week. And then they had, the big talk this week was, this brutal Sunday practice. And Rule was kind of in a I told you so mode. Like he said, look, this is going to help us, guys. I'm going to make you compete. I'm going to make you compete on Sunday because you didn't compete against Michigan on Saturday. And it'll carry over. Well, you know what, guys? I think it did. I mean, look at what they did. Look what they did on Illinois' first possession, Sean. Go ahead. Recap it. At the end of the first possession, what happened?
So after Nebraska held up Illinois in the end zone on back-to-back plays, really inside the 1 yard.
Yeah.
One of them was so close that the center had the ball over the goal line.
Yeah,
and they had a stop play to make sure the ball, when it was hiked, wasn't over the goal line.
Right.
I mean, that's how close that was to being a touchdown. But then you go back on the next 9 plays, other than a defensive holding penalty that got a first down, Illinois had 9 plays for 8 yards, I believe.
After the fourth down stop inside the 1, which the first one was Ty Robinson, who made a. Now I wrote, God, that was Reggie Love, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, Ty Robinson, Sean, and Rob, we were watching, and that was a grown man stop by Ty Robinson. Yeah. You stop a running back, a 6'1", 205-pound veteran running back like Reggie Love cold. You stopped him cold at the goal line. That was a vicious play. And if you watch a team practice goal line drill, it's a vicious drill. Like, that one team's trying to get in, the other one's trying to hold it out, and it gets vicious. That was vicious. What a stop by Ty Robinson.
Yeah, and that's the type of play that if you don't practice it, you're probably not going to make it. That's why I think this whole kind of returning to the physicality in practices and instilling that mindset in guys, and even doing it the day after a really humiliating loss.
Right.
Nebraska. I kind of wrote this, like, Matt Rule took a bit of a gamble this week to where, like, he kind of put his chips to the center of the table, both with his team and what he was saying publicly, to come right back out and throw your team out there in a full padded practice and hit the ground at a full sprint after a game like that. If things go well in the next game, then all of a sudden your message is hitting the pavement and you're off and running. But if they would have lost this game, then maybe what other tricks do you have up your sleeve at that point? Like, he kind of played his ace early in the year, and again, there's risk involved with that, but it worked, and that message hit the way that he would have hoped.
It did. Did you see that, Sean?
Sorry, I'm doing technical work.
Okay.
Trying to make sure our sound.
That's fine. That's fine.
Speed, so I've been trying to communicate.
How is the sound?
I mean, your mic, by the way, Simple's mic sounds like he's in a world-class recording studio. Robin and I think, are okay, but we're just trying to make this work here. I don't think it's that bad. I just want to make sure we're putting together a world-class show, world-class audience. Guys, I got a lot of super chats, 6 piled up, but before I get to that, let's get to our first sponsor here of the Husker Online show. This show is brought to you by Caldera Lab Men's Skin Products. You brush your teeth every day. It's important. Well, your face is as important, if not more important, than brushing your teeth. You should do anything you can to make yourself look older, feel better. And Caldera Lab's got a great product right now. It's a simple 3-step men's product that allows you to put it on in the morning, put it on at night. Takes just a couple of minutes to do. And boom, you're good to go. So I urge you to check out Caldera Lab and their men's skincare products. We've got a great special right now for our Husker Online users. Go to calderalab.com and use promo code Husker, and we will give you a great discount code, 20% off by using promo code Husker at calderalab.com. Thank you again to Caldera Lab for sponsoring us here on the Husker Online show. All right, guys, let's get into the super chats because we've got 6 piled up, and more to come. And if you want to chime in, we get so many comments and questions. Obviously, the super chats are going to take first priority to get those questions in the show. Jamie is our first super chat. Jamie chimes in and says, SIP has a stable of local average Joes he can call on for tips about weather, local eateries, truck stops, etc. Wherever you guys go. Great show, guys. Well, thank you. By the way, we did.
Where'd you guys go?
Well, we had a disappointing run and I'm going to call them Papadels. We led a lot of folks to Papadels. I mean, countless Husker fans. Hey, we came here because you guys. Well, we couldn't even get served in there at lunch, so we left. We pulled an audible and we went to Portillo's. And that's a great Chicago place, a chain place, but a great place. But Friday night or Thursday night, we had a great dinner at Baxter's. Sipple ate Town Place in Sweets snacks from the market.
I had to work.
So we've had a good trip, and it's always better to cover a win because we've covered a lot of road losses, guys. So,
oh God, yes.
Anytime you can see Nebraska win on the road is a step in the right direction. So thank you, Jamie. All right, let's get on to Cole's super chat. Cole chimes in. On TV, I saw Rule very frustrated at Satterfield, call the timeout. Looked like he told Sat no about 40 times. All 3 turnovers were because of offensive ineptitude. I'll say this. I think, Cole, they're limited right now. Marcus Washington goes down. That's a huge one. And we don't know his status. It doesn't look good, though.
Knee,
does not look good.
We know it's a knee. That's all we know.
MRI tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, Ron.
So Marcus Washington down. Anthony Grant hurts his ankle in that game. So they had a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
And then you had Illinois barking out cadences.
Oh, that's right.
On all the short yardage plays. And it drew Nebraska. And Matt Rule called out the officials.
Yeah, he was pissed.
He goes, I'm not going to call out the officials, but I'm going to call out the officials.
Yeah, Rule was pissed.
And you could tell the tactics that they were stunting and using cadences for their stunt calls. Like, go, set, and just trying to draw Nebraska. So there were some things, but guys, this offense, it is what it is. It is not going to be an elite offensive unit. No. It's going to be an offense that has to figure out ways to win games and accept it. This is a year 1 transitional offense for Matt Rule on a team that was picked, 5th or 6th in the West.
Right. No, you're right. And so we've talked about it, but it bears repeating. They lose Xavier Betts in August, right? Because he's lost his love for the game or whatever it was. I'm not being flipped there. I mean, what did he say? His heart's not in it. Okay. You lost Isaiah Garcia Castaneda to a knee injury. Okay. Now you've lost 2 of your first 3 receivers early, right? Now it looks like you're going to lose Washington, Marcus Washington, who's probably your second best receiver. And maybe you could argue that he's your best downfield guy, right?
Most experienced for sure.
Yeah. So
nobody else has done anything.
Yeah. Now, of course, Grant looked like Rob, you think he hurt his ankle?
Yeah, he got rolled up along the sideline and then hobbled off, and trainers were looking at him for a while. He sat out a few plays. He came back
and fumbled
in the game and then fumbled. So.
And now listen, they are beat up now, and you're putting a lot on Heinrich Harburg's shoulders. Okay, guys. Now Heinrich, I'd say played okay. Rule was really happy with him, and I think it makes sense for Rule to go to a podium after the game and laud Heinrich's toughness because he's going to have to do a lot. He's going to have to do a lot.
He's their best running back.
He's their best runner. He is. Heinrich Harburg. You can say it. There it is. 18 carries, 82 yards. He's their best runner. I thought early in the game he was cutting loose and made some nice throws.
Yeah. He was throwing it around a little bit in that first half.
Right. Now, what he finished passing 12 of 24 for 154, which is fine. That's fine. He wasn't going to get him. He didn't get him beat. Okay. And that's saying something, right?
Yeah. I think the issue, though, is we know that they're not going to put up a lot of yards, a lot of points, but it's the self-inflicted stuff that is still happening.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, just like fumbling a handoff.
Yeah.
Throwing the ball into coverage. Like
running out of bounds 1 yard short.
Oh, yeah.
The penalties. I mean, I sure maybe Illinois was barking out calls, but they just jumped off. So they had 5 false starts. You're telling me they got fooled by that 5 times over the course of the game without making any corrections?
Yeah.
And like the personal foul on Ben Scott after Emmett
God.
Johnson gets the first down in the red zone and puts him back 15 yards.
God almighty.
Like those are the types of things. Nebraska's margin for error on offense is so small. And when
5
you
yards
constantly shoot yourself in the foot like that, they are very fortunate that the defense played as well as it did, and that the special team was able to make the plays that it did, because normally playing like that on offense is going to get you beat.
All right, Her Dizzle has a great super chat on Heinrich Harburg and just said several clowns are trashing Heinrich Harburg in the super chat in the chats here. The dude has heart and he fights. Love the guy. And I did find an interesting sip, and Robin, Matt Rule after the game said, I mean, these kids are human, and they see these comments. It's hard. These kids that they play. I think he basically said these guys play with so much pressure to live up to the expectation, and they see and read the comments. They see the grades and the Pro Football Focuses and things, and they feel that pressure sometimes. And he just is trying to tell these kids, block all that out. Just play. Don't worry about the comments.
Sean, it's a hard discussion. Mm-hmm. I mean, because the comments are never going away. They happen everywhere. I don't know that you can tell people to ignore them. I mean, we get hammered pretty good, and I don't mind saying I don't ignore them. I see them, but I'm a 57-year-old, and I didn't handle those comments well when I was a 22-year-old journalist. I didn't. No. So I get
it's easy to say have thick skin.
Yeah, it's ezy, especially in our show.
People say that to me, like, have thick skin. Well, have you ever had, when people are critical, it's hard. I don't care who you are.
Right. So I get where he's coming from. As far as Harburg goes, I love the kid's toughness. I would love to sit here right now and say, you know what? He played at a level tonight where he's clearly the guy. I don't know that I can say that. I mean, maybe you can. I mean, I'm not saying you guys have to agree with me. I just don't know if I could take that step. There was times tonight where I wanted to, where we talked about writing a column, even that I would write my column like, okay, it's time just to go forward with Heinrich. I don't know if he can do that.
Yeah, especially not now. Like,
you don't think so?
Well, I think they are going to go forward with Heinrich.
But is he clearly
I think so.
The guy? Do you think so?
I think so. And just because he's 3-1 as a starter.
Yeah.
And
all right,
that means something. He just went on the road and won the first Big Ten game under Matt.
Well, the defense did.
Well, okay, but he was the quarterback,
right?
And he had 200 some yards offense and scored a touchdown.
All right,
It's
fair.
All I'm saying is,
fair,
at this
Rob.
point, with the dynamics of that quarterback room right now, I find it difficult to go back to Jeff Sims.
I mean, this is pretty similar to the Minnesota game. It just was a lot windier and less fans in the stadium. The situations at the end of the game. I mean, if Illinois would have scored to make that 20-14, it would have been really interesting.
Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm not taking anything away from Heinrich, and I love what the super chat person said. He's a tough dude. You don't question his will. You don't question Heinrich Harburg's will to win.
All right, let's get in. We got 8 super chats, guys. So
good God,
we're not gonna. We can't be here too late. So I'm gonna take the wheel to get some of these in here.
Take the wheel, Sean.
Cole, who's a great super chatter on the HuskerOnline postgame live show. Sat is getting paid way too much for these types of mistakes. He's the 6th highest paid offensive coordinator in college football, which I guess I didn't realize that. But once again, Cole, we're in year 1 of a brand new system, a brand new staff. I think it's fair to be critical, but I also think it's fair to recognize it's year 1.
Yeah, there's a balance there, Sean. Some of the mistakes were pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's like that. There's a balance there. What was that? Was that Cole? Is that what he said?
Cole, yeah.
Cole, Sean. I mean, what he said's valid. I don't know what to say about that offense. I just don't know.
It's rough.
Right the mistakes were egregious.
And it's rough in every phase.
Now, I don't blame Satterfield necessarily for Emmett Johnson not handling that handoff, or Anthony Grant fumbling inside the red zone. I don't know that I blame that on Satterfield or Heinrich's interception when he threw into double coverage. You blame that on the offensive coordinator? You can't blame everything on
How much would you like to have A.J. Allen right now? I mean, just
why'd you bring that up?
Well, thinking about like the running back situation they're in. Yeah. And they're, I mean, just like,
yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
Like when it was spring, they're like, oh, there's 4, there's too many.
Yeah.
Someone's got to go. Like,
but I'll tell you what, Sean, he didn't have a great spring.
No,
and he didn't look good in the
he
spring
wasn't
game.
bought in.
No,
And
he didn't. He looked like a guy with one foot out the door.
motto, one of us, like that's big. And he clearly wasn't. All right. Before I get into our next super chat, thank you again for joining us here on the Husker Online postgame show. The show and segment brought to you by CHI Health. CHI Health Clinics is offering walk-in priority care, urgent care clinics. They've got 3 convenient locations in Lincoln, including 40th between Normal and Van Dorn, 40th and Yankee Hill area, and also 84th and Holdridge. 16 total locations now in Nebraska, in Omaha, Council Bluffs, Lincoln, Grand Island, Kearney. And the best part about the priority care offered by CHI, their hours are 8 to 8, 7 days a week. So that's weekend hours as well. So you don't have to take off work. You can go in after work. You can go on the weekends. And it's, a 30, a copay visit type appointment. And they can do a lot of different treatments and things and get you seen for several things, abdominal comfort, allergies, coughs, cold, flu symptoms, ear pain, infection, minor cuts, bruises, sprains, respiratory illnesses, sore throats. So check out CHI and all of their great priority care clinics. It's all walk-ins. No appointments are needed. For a complete list, visit chihealth.com/priority care. All right, let's hit into Zach's super chat.
Okay.
Hell yes. A win. The ball finally bounced our way, but for the love of all things Steve Sipple, when will we stop going from the shotgun in short yardage?
I don't mind that.
I don't know, man.
It doesn't bother me, Rob.
Well, okay, the 2 times they've done it, they've been stuffed.
I know, but a lot of it's not like Nebraska's unique in this regard.
I know. I don't care.
Illinois did it tonight.
Yeah, I don't care who's doing it. I don't like it. I understand because you get the ball carrier, quarterback, whoever, a running start at the line.
Momentum.
So like there's momentum there. But I mean, if anything, over the last 2 years, we've learned that the most effective play in football is the tush push, whatever you want to call it. And I don't understand why you do anything else. 3rd and 1, run it. You don't get it, do it again on 4th down. And odds are you will get that. Odds are high. You're going to convert.
And you got a big old quarterback too.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Lower 10's pads and have 2 guys push him in the butt and get that first.
Well, they actually did try that at the goal line. Remember, they got the false start when they were on the 1-inch line on the first play. It was kind of a meaningless penalty. But all right, next super chat
Keep
from
rolling.
Jacob. Thank you, Jacob, by the way, for your support of the Husker Online postgame live show. Have to celebrate wins when they're so rare these days.
Agreed.
Rule has already beat his best win total in year 1. The rest of the schedule is extremely manageable. A lot of optimism in Lincoln. Thank you. And I want to roll in Aaron's as well because it's a very similar topic. Aaron, after the win tonight, how realistic is bowl eligibility? I mean, I think it is.
Very
3. You got
very much
4.
Okay.
Where are you?
We're at 3 and 3.
3 and
so
3,
you've got Purdue and Northwestern.
Yeah.
Northwestern, I believe their quarterback's hurt as well.
Yeah, Ben Bryant's hurt.
Interim head coach. Purdue, first-year head coach. Both games in Lincoln.
Yep.
Then you go out to a Mel Tucker-less Michigan State team in November.
Okay.
And who knows where that team's going to be at over the next month. We're a month away from that trip. Iowa does not have their quarterback anymore. We know Wisconsin and Maryland are going to be tough games. But I do believe of their final 6, there's 4 in there that you can say there's a path to 3.
I agree, especially with the defense, responding the way it did. I mean, come on now. You had to have some doubts after last week about how that unit would come back, but boy, I mean, it was evident early in the game. They were flying around. Think about Isaac Gifford, the way he played tonight, 8 tackles. Phelan Sanford, 6 tackles, forced a fumble. John Bullock, 6 tackles, sack. Quentin Newsome, great interception and a great return. Quentin Newsome's a dude now. I mean, I'll never, ever, all these guys we're talking about, all those guys, Nash Hutmacher, Ty Robinson. They took it on the chin last week, but they came back humming. They did. I mean, they were flying. That was a defense flying around.
Would you say that those guys that you named are Nebraska's top NFL prospects?
Yeah, I would.
Or in that group. And what did Matt Rule do on Monday?
What?
He challenged the NFL guys to play like NFL guys.
He did.
What'd they do?
Rob.
They played like NFL guys.
Jamari Butler, 1.5 sacks.
Rob, that's
by the
gold
way.
on your part. That's gold. Yeah.
1.5 sacks for Jamari Butler tonight.
Jamari's a guy who's quietly risen in the ranks.
Yes.
They really, you can tell Rule likes him. I think he's got a fire now that's lit. Jamari Butler's fire is lit.
Hey, did Cam Lenhart not play?
Oh, he played.
He played.
He did not have any stats in the final.
Sean, he got in just a little bit.
He didn't play much, but he was definitely on the field.
Okay, I'm going to read down these 4 names on the defense. Isaac Gifford, 8 tackles. John Bullock, 6 tackles. Phelan Sanford, 6 tackles. Nick Henrich, 5 tackles. Where are those 4 guys all from?
Nebraska. Interesting. Gifford, Lincoln, Bullock, Omaha, Sanford, Binkelman, Henrich, Omaha, Burke. Yeah,
Yep.
Good point.
Pretty interesting.
What about Harburg and Ty Hahn and Grant Taggy recovering the fumbled kickoff?
Yeah, good point.
Alex Bullock, 2 catches for 16
Taggy,
yards.
great play on that ball too. I mean, Taggy was really aggressive in getting that fumble.
And I made
that muff.
I made a tweet in the game like, oh, what a play. A quarterback from Kearney finds a 8-man receiver from Johnsonbrook. It's about as Nebraska as it gets. And it just unloaded the snarkiness of, and this is why Nebraska's bad. I mean, it's like, can we just enjoy a freaking moment? Like, why does everybody think they can just skip steps and Nebraska get good? Like,
it's because
it's beat down. I mean, Nebraska's fans have been beat down.
It's a byproduct of, for one, the emphasis that's put on recruiting rankings, and sites like ours are part of that conversation. But then the recruits that are supposed to be high profile guys that have not panned out year after year, and all the misses, all the guys that transfer after 1 year who never do anything and are complete busts as far as their time here at Nebraska, to where Nebraska has to play all these quote unquote unranked, no star, in-state Johnny Tryhard guys. Well, those Johnny Tryhard guys won Nebraska the game tonight. Like, you go down the list of all the in-state players that stepped up and made play after play after play in all 3 phases. That's why Nebraska won. And so this win is really good for Nebraska. I mean, just for morale, for their season and all that. But it makes it even better when kids that grew up Husker fans,
it means
from
something.
The state,
they give
that
a
people
darn.
Watch them play high school football, that it means so much to them and their families. They're the ones that are out there making those types of
No,
plays.
I want, Sean, before you go to the next super chat, I just want to, there's an approach I have that I think can sort of alleviate a lot of frustration for people. And I know, I work for a recruiting website, and I'm not about to disparage that part of college football, but I'm going to tell you this. I don't look at it as scholarship players and walk-ons. I don't. They're just players to me. And I don't sometimes understand why we have to make the distinction that Ty Hahn, is he a scholarship player or not? Who cares if he's playing?
He is basically on a scholarship, but it's full NIL.
Like, I don't even care. I don't make the distinction. John Bullock, does he looks like a scholarship player?
Yeah, he does.
I mean, the way he plays the game of football, I don't care whether he's on scholarship or not. He's a player.
6 tackles and a sack tonight.
He's really explosive.
Like,
I mean, he can be really explosive.
This is a bad. I mean, like, compare him. I'm just going to throw out a random linebacker in his, like, in the last, like Mohamed Berry. Like, I mean, I'm not, but like when you compare like performance, like John Bullock is more consistent, better tackler, makes more impactful plays.
Yeah, he's a better player.
I'm just using that as the linebacker.
Yeah, no, you're not. I know. We don't want to disparage Mo Berry. I mean,
no,
he was a good Husker and he played hard.
But you compare like the effort of some of those guys. All right, a lot of super chats here. Jay Swizzle Stick Spot. Jay's back, baby. It's our boy.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back. Nebraska comes out with an absolute ugly one. Also, gentlemen, what is going on? I've seen jock straps with better ball security.
It's a problem. I'm fine with that.
What we
very raw. And,
I mean, this is a team that's just not used to winning. I mean, they don't know how to win and close games, and they're learning. I mean, and like Matt Rule said, just have fun with it.
But now, Sean, there's a balance in that conversation. There's nothing wrong with fans having standards, Sean. There's not. There's nothing wrong at all with criticism. That all that suggests is caring. And those people have invested a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of emotional energy. So I can criticize. I mean, Matt Rule is fine with it, but I'm with you. This is a step in the right direction. It's a Big Ten road win
against a team that was picked ahead of you in the standings.
Yeah, thank you.
That's to the point of the turnovers, though. Like, sure, they haven't won a lot here, but they played a lot of football in their career. You're talking about Anthony Grant. He's 24 years old and he's still fumbling the football.
Why is he fumbling the red zone?
Like, that is the head scratching thing.
It is.
And we're 6 games in the season now, and it's still happening. Like week 1, week 2, you're like, all right, you got all these new guys that are trying to figure out their roles. They played a lot of snaps already this year.
Yeah.
And the lack of ball security. And I don't know if it's just not prioritizing holding on to the football well enough or what, but I mean, that's a real problem. Again, for this offense that already has so many issues, to constantly just give the ball to the other team or put themselves in position to turn the ball over the way that they have been, that's going to put yourself in a real bad spot.
All right. Well, thank you here for joining us on the HuskerOnline Postgame Live show. HuskerOnline Postgame Live is brought to you by Bauer Underground, and they're helping shape Nebraska's infrastructure. And they're looking for new members to join their team with open positions for laborers, equipment operators, aerial linemen, and foremen. Bauer Underground is searching for the best in construction. Visit BauerUnderground.com to learn more about career opportunities and industry-leading benefits, including competitive pay, employer-paid health insurance, dental, disability, vision, life insurance, 401k match, new top-of-line equipment, and a clothing allowance. No experience in underground construction? No problem. Bauer will train the right people in the field, giving you the hands-on experience that you'll need to build a long and rewarding career. Want to learn more? Visit Bauer Underground on Facebook to view testimonials from the current Bauer teammates, hear about their experiences and the company culture and the importance of their work. Bauer Underground is family-owned with crews and work sites across the state. Wherever you live, Bauer has an opportunity for you. For more information, like Bauer Underground on Facebook or visit BauerUnderground.com. Come start your new career today. Thank you again to Bauer Underground for sponsoring us here on Husker Online Postgame Live. All right, let's get through them here, guys. Justin comes in. Perfect timing for the bye week, coming off a win. And we will hear from Matt Rule. We learned on Tuesday, by the way. So,
we will.
Tuesday.
That was Tuesday. Okay, perfect.
It's perfect. Husker Online show Tuesday. We're going to have a nice week, guys.
Perfect, yeah.
Let's go.
Now, here's the thing I want to say about Rule. I'll tell you, there's a lot. Okay, if you're a Nebraska fan and you're just looking for reasons to enjoy this, watch his post game. I mean, I thought he was fabulous in the post game. And you know what I like about Rule? I love about Rule, and what I like about covering this team is he loves this team. He bought into this team, and he says there's 100% buy-in. Okay, as bad as the offense plays, poorly as the offense plays, it's not. We don't sit up here going, man, they just don't. It doesn't look like they play hard. Heinrich is a hard trier. He's a tough, big dude who wants this bad. Grant's the same way. And I like Rule's message. I really do. Messages, plural. He has great messages. And listen, they're going to have this is the best way if you just want to try to enjoy it, they're going to have a great chance to beat Northwestern.
And then Purdue. And then Michigan State.
Right. Just take it one at a time, though. Just be like a coach and player. They're going to have a great chance to beat Northwestern. All right. And then that's 4 wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're pretty far along at that point.
I mean, just think about it. Like, they're going to be at home in 2, I want to say winnable games, especially when it comes to Purdue.
Yeah.
I want to do that again. But they're games that Nebraska will have a very good chance.
Yeah. They're going to be games just like this.
And so
I think so,
that gives you, 1, the opportunity for 3 straight wins.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since they've done that. 2, when you add in the bye week, that's a month of that winning feeling. And
God,
even
that's
longer
important.
Since Nebraska's had that.
Oh my God,
so
that's important.
You want to talk about just the psyche of this team and all the turnovers and mistakes and learning how to win. What an opportunity.
Husker lunches, by the way, are going to be great.
Yeah.
Like we have an Stipple and I, if you don't know, we speak weekly on Thursdays in Beatrice and Fremont to great crowds of, generally 50 to 100 Husker fans. And obviously winning and losing plays an impact, but I think the wins really, really help everybody in the state. So going into the bye, it's going to be great. All right, let's get into Austin's super chat. How many games do we win with an average offense? This money, by the way, is for Sipple's Margarita in the parking lot Chili's. Hey, Sean Robb, don't think about giving him crap for it. Love Sipple nipple. That must be his.
No, he signed off on it's love Sipple's nipples. He doesn't love Sipple's nipples.
Oh, he's on our board.
He is Sipple's nipples.
Austin, thank you. Well, we also have kind of like a running thing, and I'll go with it if somebody wants to plan it out. But we are going to get Sipple like a margarita delivered in the parking lot for a show, and we'll bring it up.
Okay.
If somebody wants to do it,
I'm okay with that.
DM me on Twitter. My DMs are open. We'll figure it out for the next home game.
Okay.
Get Sipple his margarita.
Yeah, any kind.
And the upset of the trip, though, there is an El Toro in Champaign.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same one because the logo was the same. Same franchise.
What's the upset is that there is one.
We drove by an El Toro,
Yeah,
and it was next to
Papa
Del's.
Yeah, we could have went over there. But anyway, we digress. We didn't go to it. That's the bottom line. It's fine. I had work to do. I mean, it's a work trip. I'll get you know what? I'll get a margarita on Sunday. I will. I promise.
All
I'll
right.
report to you guys on
Corn Husker Corner. It's crazy to me to think that Sims is still in the conversation. Heinrich Harburg has more than proved that he is, and very at least not a turnover machine.
Sounds like a Sunday column. I got to address this quarterback situation in a Sunday column. I think I'm just going to laud Heinrich for his toughness. And like Rob said, being 3-1, I just don't think you can just say he's the guy going forward yet, though.
Well, when will you get to that point?
Well, I don't know, but there's a threshold there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what it is yet.
I always thought it was going to be this game. Like all week, I was like, this is kind of the prove it or lose it game for Harburg.
So what'd you think of it?
Because they were going to have the opportunity to go into the bye week if you're going to make a change, that's the time to do it. Now, I mean, I think you keep getting him ready because this is a critical stretch that they have coming up over these next 2 or 3 games that can define their season. They can clinch a bowl berth.
Oh, okay. What if I wrote it this way? I love doing this, talking out my columns. I do. I like it. It's transparency. What if I said you roll with Heinrich this year, but I don't know if you can just say this is your quarterback of the future?
Well, I mean, think
I don't know
about
if you can go that far.
Yeah.
What do you do though with Jeff Sims? Like, let's say Harburg starts all the way out, makes a bowl, and Sims might play some. But Sims right now we don't know this for sure, but we think he's the highest paid NIL athlete in Nebraska's NIL history. So they're highly invested with him.
I don't worry about that. That part takes care of itself.
You know, he's got an agent, a person that represents him. Like, it will be an interesting conversation. Because if he's safe, he just moves on and leaves.
Sean, I don't think. Well, now, first of all, he's already transferred once,
so you can't do it again
right.
unless he graduates.
Right. Now,
which I think he's already graduated.
So has he?
I would hope so. He's in his 5th year.
Yeah, you would think so.
Okay. You think he's got a bachelor's?
Yeah.
And if not, he could probably get it this summer.
Okay, well, then he might move on. But Sean, I want to be clear on something. I don't worry about what he's making. I just don't know why Rule. I don't think Matt Rule would worry about that.
Well, the collective probably does.
Oh, sure, but that doesn't determine who's playing and who's not. Who's making what. Now, Sims seems like he's a very good teammate to me.
He was tonight.
Yeah. So
he's making a lot of money not to have to play.
Well,
it's a heck of a deal, right?
Right. He's also smart. And he knows.
Hurt though.
He's been hurt. He also understands that he could be out there at any point, and he could still, retake the job. And the other part of the discussion, which I don't think is imminent, he could change positions, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you do that at this point.
You go from he's better than Lamar Jackson to him changing positions.
Yeah.
Easy now.
Easy.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go there just because we've seen the value how many times of having another quarterback available. And he
might be like Randy Moss.
Okay. Lamar Jackson, Randy Moss. All right, let's get another one in here. Jay Swizzlesticks coming in with 1999. Gosh, Jay. Guys, it was like taking a fat girl to the prom. It might have been pretty. It may not have been pretty, but it got the job done. Hope you boys travel back safe and have a good bye week. I'll be bringing in the spicy Bloody Marys after the next home game.
Oh, that's an interesting deal.
All right, we'll figure this out. We're all for it.
Game? It's an afternoon game, probably.
No, they haven't. Is it the?
What do you think? Northwestern, right?
Could be 11 or 2, but BTN can put it at night. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
It's really hard though to know the schedule.
I know.
I mean, we pretty much know most of the schedule for the rest of the year, other than this game. Like Purdue is afternoon.
That's the 100-year anniversary of Memorial Stadium, the official celebration, as denoted on the schedule.
Okay.
What that means, I don't know.
Let's get in another one here. Huskers 5 national championships. it's amazing to me that they still don't have the ability to keep their foot on the throat. Up 17-0. It felt like they were losing. And I agree. Like,
oh God,
so
that was big.
When we're at the game, we're talking out our plan, our coverage, trying to see what we can get kind of done ahead of time. Nowhere, not even until like late in the fourth quarter did it feel comfortable to kind of like say, okay, we're writing about a win.
What happened? Okay, so they went up 17-0. And what happened? I can't even remember. And you can't remember.
Well, they gave up the play down the sideline.
The touchdown pass. Newsome, Pat Bryant.
Yes.
Yeah, hold on. Pat Bryant beat Newsome. It was one-on-one. It was one-on-one coverage. Pat Bryant beat Newsome up the sideline here. I didn't think the coverage was bad.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't get like burned. It was just a really good throw and a good catch.
Yeah.
But then they missed the field goal right at the end of the half. Like Nebraska, I mean, when they were all of a sudden trying to be an air raid offense when they could have gone into halftime with 2 scores, and Illinois missed a 50-some-yard field goal. Like that was a potential.
Harvard ran the wrong play too.
Yes. So Rule said at halftime that the play that he threw to Billy Kemp on the sideline, where he overthrew it to Billy Kemp
when they threw 3 straight passes.
Right, but that play especially, that was a design supposed to be a QB draw, and Rule said that if Harvard could have run the right play, he probably would have gone 70 yards for a touchdown. So like, young quarterback, I guess it's part of the issue that we can't just all put on the coaching staff in Satterfield. Like they apparently called a play that was there and would have been a chunk play, maybe a touchdown.
And then that would have made
the QB just did the wrong thing.
That would have made it.
Well, that would have been 24 to 7.
24-7. Okay.
All right. Before I get into our kind of last round of super chats, thank you for watching us here on the HuskerOnline post-game show. The show is brought to you by Homefield Apparel. We're all looking for great Husker gear. We got a couple of weeks now before the next home game. You're wanting to get some new fresh gear. Check out Homefield Apparel. They've got a lot of unique, premium, different designs, not the typical stuff you're going to see at the stores around town. It's a company based in Indianapolis, and they're all about custom, unique gear. Get a personal experience. I could tell you, Robin's seen stuff on there. They have great stuff. I mean, Homefield Apparel sponsoring us here on the HuskerOnline show. You can get a 15% discount on homefieldapparel.com by simply using promo code Huskers23 to receive that 15% discount. That's homefieldapparel.com, promo code Huskers23 to get 15% off your first order with Homefield. It's the perfect apparel for football season. So check out Homefield. Thank you for sponsoring us here on the HuskerOnline postgame live. Evil Steve Sipple. So you've got handles now, Steve.
Yeah, it's really scary. This is getting weird.
Evil Steve Sipple. I hate margaritos. Oh, look at the picture.
I paid $5 for that.
Hey,
very inventive.
You know you've made it when someone's paid $5 and created a Gmail handle called Evil Sipple.
I kind of like it. I don't hate margaritas.
How old is that column pick? When did you take it?
Stop it. I get crap about this all the time. It was probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
It was 10 years ago?
Look at that hair.
Yeah, it's flow. Look at that flow. But it hides the collar.
MySpace.com profile pic or something.
Wow. The hidden thing that you don't see is this massive collar I have on that on the shirt.
Did you like go into like a studio?
Yes, I did. It was a Journal Star. They set up a studio and you have to go. Yeah, I had to wear a sport coat and everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
I was a columnist. I was very esteemed.
You're still a columnist.
I'm esteemed. I'm an esteemed columnist. Who likes margaritas?
Hey,
stop.
All right, Brandon comes in with $10. Thank you, Brandon. Sip quotes. You can't afford to be picky for Nebraska fans. I 1,000% agree.
10,000.
10,000% agree. Sorry.
10,000. Don't short me or him.
Let them know, Sip. Ugly, but a W is what matters. We have a serious Big Ten defense. Give the defensive coordinator a raise ASAP and don't let him escape. And I agree, as you would say, 100%. Tony White is going to be on some radars.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, it's getting more and more difficult, I think, for Nebraska to be able to keep him because
now easy.
I think he's going to get a head coaching opportunity.
Do you?
I mean, the way that he's coaching right now, I mean, he's clearly got those aspirations.
He does. That's why he came here, I think.
Yeah. And so, like, if the right opportunity presents itself, which keeps coaching like he did tonight, he's going to have him. Yeah. It's going to be hard for Nebraska.
Yeah. Now, again, we have to keep in mind what happened last week. Okay. That wasn't that long ago. Now, but as you guys have pointed out, that was Michigan, and Michigan, it doesn't get much better in Michigan, and they're loaded offensively. Aberration. That's what it was. It looked like now it looks like an aberration. I think this defense tonight, I just love watching them. I really enjoy. I will say this about Tony White. If you love watching a defense play, that's a really good sign, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it's fun to watch Gifford fly around. It's fun. It's fun to watch. I love watching Newsome play. Those guys are good players. It's not, they don't have like a superstar on that defense, but they got a lot of good players.
I love, like, Illinois tried to do those little perimeter screens.
Yeah. Oh, they swarm.
And just watching, like,
it's a swarm.
The way they flow.
Swarm.
In the beginning of the game, they had some problems.
Yeah, they did.
Matt Rule said they expected that.
Like, yeah, first drive.
Brett Bielema, they're really good on the opening script.
Script's good.
They won the toss. Illinois wanted the ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. And that first drive, you worried. It looked like there was a little concern I had. It looked like it once again, Nebraska on its heels a little bit. And they probably were on their heels, but they bowed up. And they bow up down in the near the 1 yard line.
6-inch line.
Oh God, they bowed up in a big way.
We talk about how fine the line is. That first drive was the line.
It was a line. Oh God, the fact they held firm there was gigantic. And you know what? We might look back, like if Nebraska wins 7 or whatever, we'll look back on that stop as a key moment.
In the Sunday practice.
Yeah, in the Sunday practice.
Whole week.
Yeah.
All right. Jay Swizzlestick says, Sean, your DMs are not open. I actually, my DMs are open. I get DMs all the time from people. So you should be able to DM me on Twitter as long as you're logged in. I mean, I would assume you'd be able to. So I think he's trying to already organize a margarita.
Okay.
Or Bloody Mary.
Oh, yeah. Well, you guys can have them too. I mean, you can get Bloody Marys for Sean and Rob.
Oh, I'll have some.
Yeah.
Don't you worry about that.
Okay.
All right.
What else, Sean?
NX Revolution. Why is Heinrich Haarberg not the guy? Sims had a losing record each year at Georgia Tech. He turned it over a ton there. And then he did the same thing here. What else do we need? What do you think, Rob?
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm in the camp now where Haarberg is the guy. Sip, I know you still have your doubts. And certainly, like,
I only have my doubts about the future.
He didn't set, well, yeah. But I don't think you worry about that.
Okay.
Like, you worry about next week or in the week after that and the week after that, because right now this team is taking baby steps. And right now, I think the guy that gives you the best chance for each one of those steps is Heinrich Haarberg. Now,
I agree.
If you get to the end of the year and he's still doing the things that he's doing now, throwing the ball into bad spots and running the wrong plays, that sort of thing, then it's a different conversation. But yeah, long term, you deal with that after the season.
Yeah,
For this year, Haarberg's my guy.
I mean, when you just look at it in a common sense way, what sense would it make to start Jeff Sims against Northwestern?
None.
I mean, I think
that's your call.
Yeah, that's it.
I already see your wheels spinning.
Yeah, it wouldn't make any sense. Now, what I'm looking to do is take the next step. See, you know what I'm tempted to do? I'm tempted. I want to do this. Just say, groom him for the future. Make him your guy. Now, I will say this. Tell me I'm wrong. Rule after the game, that was as much praise as he's given Heinrich Haarberg since this all started. Rule tonight, I thought his tone about Heinrich shifted a little bit.
He talked about him like he was the guy.
He did.
Think about a year ago, Mark Whipple, they're playing Illinois.
Yeah.
Heinrich Haarberg wasn't even a consideration to go into a game when Casey Thompson got hurt. Chubba Purdy missed the practice week and they put him in injured, unprepared.
Yeah.
And Logan Smothers, he didn't want to play. Heinrich Haarberg, it's just a phenomenal story. If you like stories, this is a kid that was told to get the hell out of here. We don't even want you in quarterback meetings.
Yeah.
You should move to tight end or get out of Nebraska.
Yeah.
And he's stuck here because you know why? He loves Nebraska.
He does. He loves the program, loves the state, and he plays like that. Hey, Rob, Sean. I mean, I'm telling you, Rule likes him. and he's about what Rule's about. I mean, Rule's a fighter now. I mean, and I think Heinrich is too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Rule, well, I guess put it this way without getting too maudlin about all this stuff. I just think Rule likes that picture of this guy leading the program right now. I think he likes that picture now.
Yeah, let's not act like he's flawed in a lot of ways. Like, he's gotten lucky over the last few games because he's made some bad throws. He's put the ball on the ground, but they've recovered the fumbles and the defense has dropped the interceptions. So, like, that wasn't happening to Jeff Sims. Like, it was the total opposite. And now all of a sudden he's getting chased out of here. So, like,
I'm not chasing Sims.
No, I'm just saying, like, in the grand scheme of things, that's the difference, though. Like, that's a fine line you walk as a quarterback. When those bounces go your way, you can look past a lot of your mistakes. But when the other team's recovering your fumbles and they're catching your interceptions, then all of a sudden you're the scapegoat.
All right, final question in the super chats or comment. Zach Nicky, who's also a great super chatter on the Husker Online postgame live show. Thank you, Zach. Rule is 100% the type of guy for this job. His biggest challenge is going to be getting a QB and some speed and playmakers on both sides of the ball. And
what do you do now?
They went all in on high school recruiting. They have 26 kids committed with the chance to maybe have a couple more, and they haven't even got into the portal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the portal needs? I think wide receiver is going to have
for sure.
And,
God, yes.
And they're going to have to pay big. A tackle. They're going to need a tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback depth. I mean, could they find another quarterback to bring in? Because is Daniel Kalen going to be enough?
Yeah. Well, that's the Harburg discussion too.
And if Sims leaves, like, what do you do?
Well, you got Chubba. You hope Chubba keeps developing. But that's what I mean. This is where it gets interesting, and you can really get too far ahead in this discussion. Is Harburg the guy for the future? I will tell you this: there's guys like, I don't think Michael Severe would mind me mentioning this. Severe, is esteemed media members, follow this stuff for
Great
years,
mind.
and he will just tell you, no, Sipple, Harburg is not the future. Don't go there. So you'll get pushback on that.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah. Like, what has he done to show you that he's a guy that's going to lead you for the next 2 or 3 seasons?
Not 2 or 3 seasons, but I think we're in agreement now that he's your guy right now.
Absolutely.
For the
zero
right
question
now,
in my mind.
for the here and now.
You think about, though, if he were to get Nebraska to a bowl,
right?
Think of the quarterbacks before him that failed to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Lee, draft pick. Adrian Martinez, one
Good
of the
player.
all-time greatest quarterbacks in terms of stats in the program's history.
Yeah.
Never went to a bowl game.
Stats, right? Who else?
Logan Smothers.
Yeah. Oh, those guys.
4-star recruit.
Yeah.
But Casey Thompson. I mean, you think about the quarterbacks that have not gone to a bowl in recent years at Nebraska. And if Heinrich Harburg did that, that should be notable.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, of course it is.
It should carry some. All right, final thoughts, guys. It's 1:30 here, so we appreciate everybody staying up late. We appreciate our producer, Megan, as well for staying up late with us here in Champaign on now what is a Saturday morning, and we fly back. We've got about a noon 12:50 flight out of O'Hare, so we're gonna hit the road about 8 to head back. So quick turn, but we love it. We want to do it any different, guys. Fun trip, big win for Nebraska. Now we get 2 weeks to kind of think about what's next, and as you said many times, Sipple, this is the most manageable schedule Nebraska will ever have
going forward,
maybe for the rest of our lifetimes.
Yeah. So Northwestern, you'll have it with the way the defense is playing. You just know you're going to have a great chance to win that game, and just I'm not going to go any further than that. With the way that defense is playing, you have a great chance to beat Northwestern.
Yep,
just keep it at that.
This is a month of opportunity. They accomplished the first step of it. Now it's on to the next one.
Opportunity.
Yeah,
that's real. I'm sorry, that's embarrassing.
We're not.
Don't use that one.
All right.
I like the Sipple evil guy.
Hire evil Sipple.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here on the Husker Online postgame live show. Plenty of great coverage. Well, pro football focused stuff up tomorrow. And Steve Sipple will have a world-class Sunday column.
Easy.
You kind of got to see the sausage made behind the scenes here as he's putting some thoughts together for Sunday. We'll have the rundown as well Monday. We'll hear from Matt Roll Tuesday. So if you missed us live here on YouTube, we're also on the podcast channel. Find us on the Husker Online podcast. We'll have this up tonight as well. Signing off here in Champaign, Illinois for Robin Washett, Steve Sipple, our producer Megan Gunther back in Omaha. I'm Sean Callahan here signing off for Husker Online Postgame Live.